Hello and welcome to the program from the National Assembly. I am Itaire Ikpeng. The House of Representatives is urging the federal government to lift the suspension on various social investment programs and make them active again. This resolution followed the adoption of a motion sponsored by Deputy Speaker Benjamin Kalu and 20 other lawmakers on the floor of the House. We now bring you some of the highlights of the House plenary of 3rd December 2024.
I've examined and approved the votes and proceedings of Thursday, 28 November 2024. Order.
I stand on Order 8 Rule 5 to move a motion of urgent public importance for federal government to wade into communal crisis in Kari Clan. Kari Clan is in Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I so move.
I stand to second the motion heavily raised by my honorable colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so second. Thank you.
The second leg of the motion.
I rise to second the motion moved by my colleague. I so second.
Those against, you say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Jimbo.
Motion of urgent public importance for federal government to wade into communal crisis in Kari Clan in Akwa Ibom State. The House notes that Kari is a community with 10 villages that made up the Nkari clan in the local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Nkari clan hosts the long-abandoned Nkari Aid Dam project of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Water Resources and has an expansive acre of natural and fertile agricultural land that is largely unutilized and undeveloped. The Nkari clan communal crisis erupted in 2011 after a communal conflict between Ubet Okom village and Mbente village because of a portion of land estimated at almost 10 hectares. The 10 hectares of land is a land under contention and is about 2 kilometers away from the village settlement and is close to the Nkari Dam site. Also note that the communal crisis has escalated further in 2024 following intensified attacks and counterattacks by Ubet Okom and Mbente villages because of more disagreements and violence encounters between youths of Mbente village and Ubet Okom due to dispute attributed to the exploitation of palm fruit and theft at that same disputed land of 2011, in which has led to abductions, slaughtering, killings of people at boundaries of these two villages. Acknowledge that the Akwa Ibom State government made efforts to settle the boundary dispute in 2011 by setting up a panel of inquiry to investigate and also meet with the Nkari clan warring communities to settle the dispute, in which till date the report of findings has not been released or implemented as to this non-release of government white paper. On 2011 panel report, an implementation of its recommendation has left the culprit to be more confident, dubious in their plan and activities. Worried that the communal crisis has wreaked a lot of havoc to not only the two villages but also citizens of Akwa Ibom State and Nigeria that do ply the Nkari Barracks Junction to market, schools, works, or social gatherings, are gunned down and slaughtered on daily basis, as well as mass destruction of houses and properties of the fleeing Ubet Okom and Bente villages, including the new relief housing S unit that was built by the Jehovah Witness Assembly. Also worried that since the wave of conflicts and killing that erupted from January 2024 till date, Ubetokom people have deserted their villages to the neighboring villages, from where they have been planning and launching attacks on Bente village by laying ambush on government roads to abduct and slaughter passerby on the roads. Further worried that aside from the Nkari land intra-communal crisis, there is interstate boundary demarcation war that is ongoing for decades between the whole Nkari community in a local government area in Akwa Ibom State, their neighbors, Usaka Uku community, Ikwano local government area of Abia State. This perennial problem has been lingering and spanning decades due to contention for ownership of a large expanse of land between the two states' communities, covering several hectares of this road. Tragically is the only road into and out of Nkari community, traverses this disputed territory. The communal crisis over the years has claimed more than the estimated 80 previous lives, precious lives, from both communities, including men, women, children, students, civil servants, clergy, and several visitors whose lives have been wasted on the road. The House accordingly resolved and plead that let this honorable House set up a committee comprising the National Boundary Commission, Border Community and Development Agency, House Committee on Border, Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, House Committee on Humanitarian Affairs, Government of Akwa Ibom State and Abia State, to amicably resolve the age-long dispute to avoid further destruction of lives and properties. Urge the committee to expedite action and report back to the House within 4 weeks. Also mandate the federal government to establish a military base in Kari to restore, maintain peace and orderliness in the communities. Mr. Speaker, colleagues, I so move.
I rise this morning to second the narrative motion ably moved by my colleague and brother. I so second.
In support of this motion, should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Special Duties, Humanitarian Affairs and Army for further legislative action. Honorable colleagues, it's my pleasure to invite Right Honorable Yusuf Adamu Gadi to move a motion he believes is of urgent public importance.
I rise, Mr. Speaker, to move a matter of urgent public importance relying on Order 8 Rule 4 and other relevant rule of the House on the urgent needs for the federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to take emergency actions to curb the rapidly escalating menace of kidnapping and insurgency-related activities in Panshinkanke, Kanam Federal Constituency of Plateau State and its environs. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
I rise to second that this matter is urgent enough to be heard. I so second.
Honorable Mikey, can you second?
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the second leg that the motion be read as an urgent matter from Right Honorable Gadi, the new Labour boy of the Nigeria. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Gadi, please proceed.
The House notes that the unfortunate occurrence of kidnapping activities in Panshinkanke and particularly Kanam local government areas of Plateau State perpetuated by unknown persons who have in recent
Honorable
times...
Ajile Soro, please can you find your seat? We have not been seeing your face for quite a while, so we would want to see you today throughout. I beg you.
Who have in recent times made the area the focal point of their nefarious activities. Further note, Mr. Speaker, that since August of this year, various communities in Kanam local government areas of Plateau State, Panching and Kanke, have been victimized by unprecedented cases of kidnapping for ransom. Many prominent personalities in the area, Mr. Speaker, as well as ordinary citizens, have been victims, including some who were killed even after their families had paid significant sum as ransom to rescue their freedom. Concern, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that just in the last 3 weeks, over 30 people have been kidnapped in Kanam local government area, with their implication on rural economic activities and the prospect for sustenance. And
order, please, order, please, order. Honorable David, Honorable Timeng, good afternoon.
Concern, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that in the last 3 weeks, over 30 people have been kidnapped in Kanam local government area, with their implications on rural economic activities and the prospect of the sustenance and prosperity. The demand for extortant ransom demanded by these kidnappers has financially devastated many families in the area. At the same time, both the victims and these kidnappers and their families continue to suffer from the emotional and psychological trauma brought by their unfortunate and painful experience. Aware, Mr. Speaker, honorable members, that due to the recent increase in mining activities in Kanam local governments and other neighboring local governments, the area have become attractive to prospectors, traders, business people of all stripes. Regrettably, Mr. Speaker, that the increase in commercial activities due to the mining activities has also attracted criminal elements from across the country seeking to exploit the people who live in those areas and those who pass through those areas for one reason or another. Mr. Speaker, also aware that Kanam local government area of Plateau and the other two neighboring local government, Panching and Kanke, is a home of a large forest reserve area that is quickly becoming a safe haven and a hidden place for those criminal elements to operate from them, particularly those bandits and Boko Haram that were displaced from other states of Kebbi, Borno, Zamfara, Yobe, and other states of the northeastern and northwestern part of Nigeria. Further concern, Mr. Speaker, that unless urgent and coordinated action by the security agencies is taken now to stop and control this escalating menace, Kanam local government area of Plateau State and Panching Kanke may shortly become a new attractable front in our national ongoing fight against insecurity manifested by acts of insurgency, kidnapping, and extorted criminal activities. The House resolved, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, 1, direct the Inspector General of Nigerian Force 2, as a matter of utmost urgency, deploy the specialist anti-kidnapping squad to some locations in Kanam local government area, Panching and Kanke, to immediately begin targeted operations to gather intelligence on the kidnapping and their networks and to dislodge those kidnappers from the area. 2, Mr. Speaker, the House do also resolve to request that the Chief of Defense Staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria organize a military presence in those locations, particularly in Kanam local government area and its environs, as well as other kidnapping hotspots in the country, and engage counter-insurgency method to target those kidnapping networks, especially during this Yuletide season, to prevent many families across the country from experiencing a dark Christmas. 3, Mr. Speaker, the House do urge the national security agencies, including the Department of State Service, the Nigerian Police Force, the National Security and Civil Defense Corps, and specialized unit of the Nigerian military to undertake a joint intelligence-led effort to comb the forest reserve areas in Kanam local government Wasai and Taraba axis to dislodge those camps and premises of those bad actors before they became unentrained and more formidable. 4, Mr. Speaker, consider proposal to establish a framework for rehabilitation and compensation of our dear citizens who have in the course of going about their ordinary lives and business became victims of kidnapping, and those who continue to suffer both financially and psychologically from the unfortunate experiences. 5, Mr. Speaker, urge the Commandant General of Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to establish a divisional office in Gum area of Kanam local government and other areas that are affected by this act of criminality, and observe a minute silence to those who lost their life in Kanam local government by these kidnappers and bandits. I so move, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Honorable Makama.
I rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleagues, Honorable Gaddi. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Interior, National Security for further legislative action. Please, shall we rise for a minute silence? May the soul of the departed rest in peace. Presentation of 11 bills, and now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Veteran Federation of Nigeria Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, first reading. Risk Management Reporting Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Heroes Register Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Institute of Animal Science Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Institute of Social and Economic Research Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Export Promotion Council Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Television Authority Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Produce Enforcement of Export Standards Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading.
Third order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to amend Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center Igboho, Oyo State, and for related matters. And the fourth order of the day is the third reading of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Institute of Fisheries Research, Ogidigben, Delta State, and for related matters. And the fifth order of the day is the reading of a bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Cap 010 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for establishment of Orthopedic Hospital Biliri, Gombe State, to be affiliated to Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, and for related matters. So please, you can take the five together.
And Administration and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to establish Federal College of Medical Laboratory Science and Technology, Eka Midim, Akwa Ibom State, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center, Igboho, Oyo State, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Institute of Fisheries Research, Ogidigben, Delta State, and for related matters, third reading. A bill for an act to amend the Orthopedic Hospitals Management Board Act Cap 00010 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 to provide for establishment of Orthopedic Hospital Biliri, Gombe State to be affiliated to Federal Teaching Hospital Gombe, and for related matters, third reading.
The Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act, and for related matters, standing in the names of Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, Honorable Mark Hosseini, Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 23rd July 2024. I now invite Honorable Mark Hussaini to move that the bill be read a second time.
Is to move that the bill HB 1662, which is a bill for an act to amend the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act and for related matters, be read the second time. I hereby move.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The seventh order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Federal High Court Act Cap F12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 as amended, to provide for increase in the number of judges of the court and for related matters, standing in the names of Honorable Benjamin Okezikalu and 7 others. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Tuesday, 23rd July 2004. I'll now invite Honorable Kalu to move that the bill be read a second time.
I rise to move for a bill for an act to amend the Federal High Court Act Cap F12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, as amended, to provide for the increase in the number of judges of the court and for related matters, HB 1634, to be read the second time.
I rise to second the motion heavily moved by my colleagues that the bill will be allowed to read for the second time. Thank you.
This bill is also a straightforward one. With your kind permission, we'll go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The eighth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies, Abuja, Osun State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted by the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House of Representatives. The bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 27th November 2024. I now invite the House Leader to move that the bill be read a second time.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish Federal University of Agriculture and Development Studies, Abuja, Osun State, and to make comprehensive provisions for its due management and administration and for related matters, Senate Bill 569, be read second time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Rise to second the motion as moved by the Deputy House Leader. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The ninth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Northwest Development Commission Act and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members recall that the bill was transmitted by the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House of Representatives. The bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28 November 2024. I now invite the House Leader to move that the bill be read a second time.
I rise once again to move that a bill for an act to amend the Northwest Development Commission Act 2024 and for related matters, Senate Bill 567, be read for second time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, with your kind permission, we'll go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, the 10th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Southeast Development Commission Act and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted by the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House of Representatives. The bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28 November 2024. I'll now invite the House Leader to move that the bill be read a second time.
I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Southeast Development Commission Act 2024 and for related matters for related matter SB 568 be read second time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye.
Aye.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The 11th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Federal College of Animal Husbandry, Kawoje, Kebbi State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Bello A. Kawoje. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 21st November 2024. I now invite Honorable Kawoje to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to move the bill for an act to establish the Federal College of Animal and Husbandry, Kawoje, Kebbi State, and for related matters, HB 1929, be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This bill is referred to the Committee on Agricultural Colleges and Institutions for further legislative action.
No,
the
Mr.
Order of
Mr.
the
Speaker. Mr. Speaker.
Yep.
The bill should go to this committee responsible, that Committee of Livestock.
Now, okay.
Talking of animal husbandry, and there's a committee on livestock. I believe the chairman agreed is correct.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Livestock for further legislative action. The 12th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of the National Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Robotic Studies, Sciences Regulation Commission to ensure proper control of usage of artificial intelligence technology in Nigeria, regulate the development, deployment, and use of artificial intelligence in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Saad Soli, Honorable Benjamin Okalu, Honorable Ademorin Ekuye, Honorable Ibrahim Ayokole Siaka, Honorable Aki Rotimi. Honorable members will also recall that the bills were consolidated on Wednesday and read the first time on Thursday, 28 November 2024. I now invite Honorable Kalu to move that the bill be read the second time.
I rise to move that this bill, known as HB 143-601-942-1810 that was consolidated, be read the second time. I so move.
By the Deputy Speaker that these bills, having been consolidated, be read the second time. I so second.
I wouldn't mind if one or two of the sponsors would want to say a word or two to give flesh to what the bills are all about.
Mr. Speaker, this bill, last week, we moved it for second reading, but under the direction of the House, that this bill should be consolidated in addition to about 3 other bills. These bills is simply trying to develop a framework that will address the emerging technology within the AI system, which will largely deal with risk management, data protection and privacy, data governance. There is safety and security issues in the usage of the AI technology. And then there is the human oversight over the system, as well as education and awareness within the ecosystem of AI technology. I think basically these are some of the areas that we're trying to develop a framework which are largely is a new technology with the vibrant country that we have. There are things that we need to put some safeguard in the usage of these things. Basically, these are some of the issues that prompted our imagination and our intention to see that we develop a framework for this country so that we can put a safeguard for whatever that may happen within that ecosystem. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
A bill for an act to provide for establishment of the National Institute for Artificial Intelligence and Robotic Studies Sciences Regulation Commission to ensure proper control of usage of artificial intelligence technology in Nigeria, regulate the development, deployment, and use of artificial intelligence in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to the Committee on Science and Technology for further legislative action. The 13th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish fisheries and aquatic studies research institute, Darki, Wudil, Kano State, to provide for instruction, training, and research into the field of fishery and aquatic studies in Nigeria, including the conservation of fish husbandry and commercial fisheries in Nigeria and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Abdulhakim Kamilu. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, 10th October 2024. I will now invite Honorable Kamilu to move that the bill be read a second time.
This afternoon to present a motion on a bill for an act to establish Fisheries and Aquatic Studies Research Institute, Derki Wudil, Kano State, to provide for instruction, training, research into the field of fishery and aquatic studies in Nigeria, including the conservation of fish husbandry and commercial fisheries in Nigeria and for related matters. Mr. Speaker, I so seek the leave of the House for this bill to be read the second time. Thank you. I so submit.
I hereby second the motion or the bill being read by my honorable colleague. I so second.
Support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This is an establishment bill. I think with your kind permission, we can just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, there is a point of correction on the 12th order. The reference committee is supposed to be Committee on ICT, not Science and Technology. Please note this correction accordingly.
Mr. Speaker, observation on this subject matter. There is National Center for Technology Management, NACETEM.
National Center
for Technology Management. NACETEM. The agency is saddled with the responsibilities of all technological aspect of technology.
Which aspect?
Which AI is among, sir?
The National Center. So what of ICT? Does it also not have the same jurisdiction?
You know, the Center for Technology Development encompasses is the overall quantum that has to do with technology.
And that agency is under which committee?
It's under Science Engineering.
Science Engineering.
Yes, sir.
So, honorable colleagues, with your kind permission, we can make it a joint. Science Engineering as an additional committee to look into this bill. Thank you for the correction. The 14th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Medical Centers Act and establish the Federal Medical Center Ohafia Local Government Area, Abia State, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Ibe Okwara Osonwa. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 26 July 2023. I will now invite Honorable Osonwa to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to lead the debate for a bill proposing the second reading of an act to amend the Federal Medical Center Act and establish Federal Medical Center Ohafia, Abia State in Nigeria. I seek the leave of the House and the Speaker to proceed.
Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I am from Nasarawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my dear colleague, Honorable Ibe. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Say aye. Those against you say nay. The ayes have it. Again, honorable colleagues, this is an establishment bill. With your kind permission, we go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. There is have it. This bill is referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for further legislative action. The 15th order of the day is a motion on the need to unfreeze the accounts of the National Social Investment Programs Agency for the reactivation of all social investment programs of the agency, standing in the names of Honorable Benjamin Okezi Kalu and 21 other honorable members. Honorable Kalu is hereby invited to move the motion.
Honorable colleagues, I rise this morning to move a motion on the need to unfreeze the account of the National Social Investment Program Agency in SIPA for the reactivation of all social investment programs of the agency. This motion has other 21 members supporting it. I so move.
Say aye. Sorry, there is a technical issue. Please go ahead.
Needs us to adumbrate on it so that Nigerians will know what it's all about. I know it's possible to just stand up and say, I move according to the motion paper, but it's good to read some of the lines so that people will know why we are going this way. Thank you for obliging me, Your Excellency. The House knows that National Social Investment Program Agency was established pursuant to the National Social Investment Program Agency Establishment Act 2023 with the mandate of empowering unemployed persons, vulnerable widows, orphans, children, persons with disability, and vulnerable senior citizens, etc. The House also notes that NCIPA oversees critical social intervention programs, such as grant for vulnerable groups, Empower, the Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, JIP, Conditional Cash Transfer, and the National Homegrown School Feeding Program. The House notes also, Mr. Speaker, that the renewed hope agenda of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu-led government gives emphasis to the mandate of the NCIPA to cushion the effect of economic shocks on the poor and the vulnerable. The House is disturbed that despite the programs of NCIPA being vital for poverty alleviation, youth empowerment, and economic inclusivity in Nigeria, the agency's functionality has been hindered due to administrative bottlenecks, insufficient funding, and frozen accounts. Honorable Speaker, distinguished colleagues, the House is worried that the effort of the government and the laudable programs of NCIPA were truncated by alleged financial mismanagement by handlers of the program, leading to the suspension of programs and freezing of the agency's account and subsequent investigation by anti-corruption and security agencies. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, the House is concerned that the smooth operation of the programs and the fulfillment of the mandate of NCIPA are hindered due to the suspension, freezing of the account of the agency and other administrative bottlenecks, which has remained in force even more than 3 months after the President reconstituted the new management of NCIPA. The House also notes, the House is also concerned that NCIPA frozen account contradicts the President's mandate on poverty alleviation by hindering and halting social welfare programs, including conditional cash transfer, small business grant, and school feeding initiative, undermining economic empowerment initiative.
Order, please. Order, please.
Delaying in achieving sustainable development goals and causing erosion of public confidence and administrative paralysis in fighting poverty, among other things.
What is happening with this NNPP caucus here? No, that be in order. Maybe after sitting, I will give him that permission to do so. Please go ahead, DS.
The House is also worried that as a result of the suspension of account of NCIPA, the Empower program has been so negatively affected that 395,731 beneficiaries are owed outstanding stipends to the tune of 81,315,540,000 naira, a fund already captured under the 2023 and 2024 Amended Appropriation Act, which will lapse by the year ending 31st December 2024. The House believes that restoring this account aligns with the President's vision, ensuring that poverty alleviation efforts remain effective, efficient, and impactful, and that it is essential to act swiftly to resolve this issue to maintain momentum towards the administration's poverty eradication goals. Therefore, the House resolves to 1, urge the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to mandate the Honorable Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy to A, ensure that all frozen accounts of the National Social Investment Program Agency are unfrozen within 72 hours to enable the smooth recommencement of all the programs of NSEPA, and B, ensure the release of funds to NSEPA for the payment of outstanding stipends owed to 395,731 Empower beneficiaries nationwide without further delay. The House also urged the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management to ensure that all the administrative bottlenecks hindering the smooth operation of all programs of NSEPA are immediately removed. And finally, transmit this resolution to the Senate for concurrence. I so move, Mr. Speaker, and thank you for the opportunity.
Honorable Jobe.
Mr. Speaker, in the course of freezing the account of NSEPA, NSEPA is having 42 warehouses across the country. In the course of freezing the account, those warehouses were also locked, and there are a lot of items in those warehouses. So I think we need to also urge the President to mandate the relevant.
So that will be an additional prayer.
Additional prayer, yes, sir.
Okay, so frame it, please.
Yes, sir. Urge the President of this country to mandate the relevant authority to unlock the warehouses across the country. I so submit, sir.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the amendment ably moved by my chairman, Right Honorable Jobe. I so amend.
Those against, you say nay. That is have it. Another amendment? Honorable Jaha.
I just want to, in a lighter mode, amend prayer 2. Also urge the Honorable Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management. Instead of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management, what we have today is poverty alleviation. So this Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management is no more existing as part of our ministries in the country. So there is a need for Ministry for Poverty Alleviation to direct the unfreezing of the accounts and unlocking the stores.
Are you sure?
Yes.
DS.
I thought it has been replaced in the current. Okay, I humbly withdraw my. Yes. Do we have humanitarian still? Who is the minister?
He was just appointed 3 weeks ago.
Okay, I thought it's poverty alleviation.
No, I don't think so.
Poverty reduction. I don't think it's humanitarian again.
So it's just an additional.
Okay.
Humanitarian, as is indicated, is correct.
Okay, humanitarian and poverty reduction.
Exactly, yes.
Thank you.
From the body of the motion, we know that a committee was set up to investigate the corrupt practices. And anything worth doing is worth doing well. On freezing the account and starting the program again when the committee's report has not been made public. So, additional prayer is that urge the committee to make public the report of the investigation. That is my additional prayers, because this will help the program going forward in meeting up with the terms and reference and the purpose for which it was meant to achieve.
Any seconder to this additional prayer?
Their works and they have submitted their report to the president, sir.
Only that details of the report has not been made public, right?
It has not been, yes, sir.
So,
but the report has been submitted to the president, sir. So far, they have fully handed over to the current ministers, the two ministers, the minister, and they have handed over everything, sir.
Discretion to make it public or private? Okay. Okay, so that is overtaken by events then. Thank you. So any seconder to the main motion? The main motion as amended. Honorable Fage.
I rise this afternoon to second the motion assembly moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
16th order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate and address deviations from federal government approved master plans or federal housing estates for excessive profiteering, standing in the name of Honorable Isosa Iyawe. Honorable Iyawe is hereby invited to move the motion.
Isosa Iyawe.
Okay.
I represent the vibrant people of Oredo Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to investigate and address the deviations of federal government-approved master plans of federal housing estates for excessive profiteering. Mr. Speaker, the House notes that the Federal Housing Authority was established, amongst other functions, to provide, develop, and manage real estate on a commercial basis in all states of the Federation, as well as prepare and submit proposals for national housing programs. Mr. Speaker, the House is aware that the Federal Housing Authority executes the housing programs proposed and submitted after getting approvals from the federal government. The House is informed that the approvals of the estate includes conducive, serene, and tranquil living spaces, approved site plans, development timelines, green areas, recreational facilities, community centers, and general service areas for banks, health centers, post offices, and shopping malls. Mr. Speaker, the House is concerned that after the commencement of construction and subscription by the public, the federal housing estate surreptitiously deviates from the approved plan in Gusape, Lugbe, and Lagos by converting spaces approved for green areas, recreational centers, and general utilities to living spaces sold at premium to unsuspecting subscribers. Mr. Speaker, the House is also concerned that spaces meant for greenery, drainages, and channeling of flood waters are converted and constructed upon, endangering the lives of subscribers who have bought into this initial plan of affordable serenity and tranquility of FHA estates for excessive profiteering. Mr. Speaker, the House resolves to mandate the Committee on Public Assets to investigate the deviations from the approved plans and reports within four weeks for further legislative action. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
My name remains Honorable Attorney Matthew Nwogu. I continue to speak for the people of Abombise, Ngopala Federal Constituency.
Honorable Zainab Gemba, good afternoon.
Mr. Speaker, I intend to make an amendment in the...
Honorable Faleke, what are you saying? Yeah, I think we'll move a motion to... Thank you so much. Next time, I think I will call the name correctly. Please continue, Honorable Martin.
On the resolution, instead of public access to investigate the committees that I believe are necessary here are the committees on housing and habitat and urban development and regional planning. I so amend.
Are you saying that we should delete committee on public asset and replace with, or you are talking about additional committees? Which of the two?
additional committee.
Additional committees to work with the one earlier suggested, right?
Yes, sir.
Any seconder to this amendment?
You see, if you look at the content of this motion, it's talking about recreational facilities, green areas, community centers, and all these are about habitat. And there's a committee on habitat, that is housing and habitat. So the relevant committee is the committee for housing and habitat.
So are you suggesting that public assets should be deleted?
Yes, sir.
And replaced with housing and habitat?
Yes, sir.
Well, so...
Deboye Paul, PhD, representing Nigeria, Federal Constituency, the mini Nigeria. I'm from Lagos State, the state of aquatic splendor. I consider that amendment as appropriate and apt because the entire relevancy of the motion is premised on housing, and the challenge is there. It has not become abandoned yet. So I second that motion. Thank you.
Those in support of this amendment should say, the ayes have it. The second amendment is inclusion of housing, which already has been taken down. Which other committee? Honorable Martins.
Urban Development and Regional Planning.
Pardon?
Urban Development and Regional Planning.
Any seconder that urban and regional planning, right, should be included in this committee? Anyone? Honorable Camilo?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Representing Udilgarko, Federal Constituency, Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second that Committee on Urban Development and Regional Planning should be included as a relevant committee to this motion. Thank you. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This is there. Have we moved for the secondment of the main motion? Any secondment to the main motion? Yes, my dear brother from Bayelsa.
My name is Honorable Chief Mitema Obodo. I speak for Ogbea Federal Constituency and from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion as amended. I so second. Thank you.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the committees on housing and habitat and urban development for further legislative action. The 17th order of the day is a motion on rehabilitation and furnishing of the National Museum, Port Harcourt, River State, standing in the name of Honorable Blessing Shigeru Amadi. Honorable Amadi is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our Father, I hereby stand to move a motion on the need to rehabilitate and equip the Port Harcourt Museum. The House notes that the federal government, through Decree 77 of 1979, established National Commission for Museums and Monuments to manage the museums across the country. Also notes that the National Museum Port Harcourt reflects the aspects of life in the Niger Delta, contributes to the region as an economic sphere of influence and a region that blends diverse cultural traditions. The House is aware that the National Museum serves as a crucial repository of Nigeria's cultural heritage. Therefore, preserving artifacts that tell the nation's story. Also aware that the National Museum Port Harcourt is in a state of neglect and disrepair, where structural deficiencies not only endanger the safety of workers and visitors, but also impede the adequate conservation, exhibition, and accessibility of the nation's cultural treasure. The House is worried that The continued neglect may result in irreversible damage to the structural integrity of the facility and jeopardize Nigeria's cultural identity, thereby diminishing the collective sense of pride and belonging. Cognizant that rehabilitating and equipping the National Museum, Port Harcourt, will boost tourism and cultural development, create opportunities for local artisans, businesses, and the region, as well as preserve the nation's cultural heritage, and be an investment in the education and enlightenment of the future generation. The House resolves to mandate the Committees on Works, Niger Delta Ministry, and the NDDC to ensure urgent renovation and procurement of modern equipment for the National Museum Complex, Port Harcourt. The House also mandates the Committee on Appropriation to include the rehabilitation and the equipment of the National Museum, Port Harcourt Complex in the 2025 budget. I so move.
In addition, sir, culture and tourism, all committees mentioned there are very relevant. I am seeking the inclusion of Committee on Tourism.
Okay, fine.
Thank you.
Any seconder? Any seconder to this? Honorable Ajagule?
Agweza.
What's your constituency?
Lokoja Kogi Federal Constituency.
No,
Mr.
not
Speaker.
you. It's my brother from behind you.
Is the most populated federal concern in Nigeria, Ali Mosho, sir.
Ali Mosho, sorry.
Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
I speak for and on behalf of Ali Mosho Federal Constituency, the most populated federal constituency in Nigeria. I'm from Lagos State. I rise to support the amendment moved by my fellow honorable member. I so move. Thank you.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Culture and Tourism, Works, Ministry of Regional Development, NDDC, and Appropriations for further legislative action. The 18th order of the day is consideration of 5 bills, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Ehofere, the House Leader. The House Leader is hereby called to move for their consideration.
Honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Abdullah Ibrahim Ali Alims. I am from Kogi State and I represent the wonderful people of Ankpa Omalo Federal Constituency. I hereby move for consideration of following reports. Number 1, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Medical Centers Act to establish Federal Medical Center, Boni and for little matter SB 1855. A bill for an act to establish the Chartered Institute of Capital Market Registrar to ensure professionalism in the system and for related matters SB 1460. A bill for an act to repeal the National Examination Council NECO Establishment Bill Cap Entry 7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the National Examination Council NECO Establishment Act 2024 to provide for National Common Entrance Examination NCEE, the Basic the Basic Education Certificate Education BCEs, and the Senior Secondary Certificate Examination Internal SSC1, compulsory for every Nigerian child to design the scope of the powers and function of the governing board of the council and for related matters HB 421. Then 21, a bill for an act to amend the Northwest Development Commission Act and for related matters Senate Bill 567. I hereby move. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Minority Leader, please can you second?
the House do consider the listed bill by the House Deputy Leader in the Committee of the Whole. I so second.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The 19th order of the day is consideration of report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to establish the North Central Development Commission, charged with the responsibility, among other things, to receive and manage funds from allocation of the Federation account for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of roads, houses, and other infrastructural damages suffered by the region as a result of the effect of the communal crisis, as well as tackle the ecological problems and any other related environmental or developmental challenges in the North Central states and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 28 November 2024. Honorable Ahmed Idris Wase will move for their consideration.
Fellow colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wase, Federal Constituent Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, I rise to move the motion for the constitutional report of the Conference Committee on a Bill for an Act to establish North Central Development Commission charged with the responsibility, among other things, to receive and manage funds from the allocation of the Federation accounts for the reconstruction and rehabilitation of roads, houses, and other infrastructure damages suffered by the region as a result of the effect of the communal crisis, as well as tackle the ecological problems and any other related environmental or developmental challenges in the North Central states and other related matters, and approve the recommendations. That is, I so move.
Any seconder?
I represent the people of Karu, Kefi, Kokona Federal Constituency of Nasarawa State. I rise to second that we consider this motion as so second.
Against should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The 20th order of the day is consideration of report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to amend the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency Act (CAP) N30, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 28 November 2024. Honorable Abbas Adigun will move for his consideration.
My name is Abbas Adigun. I represent the people of Ibadan, Southeast, Ibadan Northeast Federal Constituency. I rise to appeal to the House to consider the report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to amend the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency Act (CAP) N30, Law of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and for related matter, and approve the recommendation therein laid on 28/11/2024. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Mohammed Buba Jajere. I represent the good people of Fika Fune Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Yobe State. I stand to second the motion moved by my able colleague. I so move, sir.
Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The 21st order of the day is consideration of report of the Conference Committee on a bill for an act to establish South-South Development Commission charged with the responsibility to receive and manage funds from the Federation account allocation and other sources, donations, grants, aids for the integration, development, resolution of infrastructural deficit, account deficit, militancy, communal crises, as well as tackle ecological, environmental problems and for related matters. Honorable members will recall that the report was laid on Thursday, 28 November 2024. Honorable Frederick Abedi will move for his consideration.
Mr. Chike John Okafor, PhD. I represent the good people of Ehimembano, Ihituboma, Bo Federal Constituency. I'm from Imo State. I am standing in for Honorable Chief Agbedi Frederick, PhD, who is unavoidably absent. The House do consider the report of the Conference Committee on a Bill for an Act to establish South-South Development Commission charged with the responsibility to receive and manage funds from the Federation account, allocation and other sources, donations, grants, aids for the integration, development, resolution of infrastructural deficit, militancy, communal crisis, as well as tackle ecological, environmental problems, and for related matters, and approve recommendation therein. Mr. Speaker, this colleagues, I so move.
I remain Boniface Semerengwa, representing the Ikwere Emo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from River State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion, every moved by my friend.
You say aye. Those against you say nay. The ayes have it. The 22nd order of the day is consideration of two reports of Committee on Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring, standing in the name of Honorable Boma Goodhead.
Prizes Ikole and Oyo local government. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ekiti State, the very first state in which our National Assembly caucus has unanimously endorsed the tax bills. Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of Honorable Boma Goodhead. Mr. Speaker, I rise on behalf of Honorable Boma Goodhead. Mr. Speaker.
Order, please,
Mr.
order.
Protected, Mr. Speaker.
He's expressing his personal opinion. Please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Order,
Mr. Speaker,
please.
I am protected. Honorable colleagues, I am protected. Honorable colleagues, I am protected, please. Please. Thank you.
Order, please. Order.
Thank you very much.
Please. No. Please, order, please. Order.
No, this is very expensive job. We don't accept this.
What did you say? Prove to what you are representing here.
Thank you very much.
We are not talking about tax bills. Please.
Mr. Speaker,
honorable colleagues.
I withdraw that introduction.
He has withdrawn.
Yes, sir.
He has withdrawn that statement, please. He has withdrawn it. Please. Order, please. Order.
Yes, sir.
Please.
Mr. Speaker, I withdraw that introduction. I withdraw the introduction. I will introduce myself properly. Mr. Speaker, can I have the opportunity to speak?
Please, honorable colleagues. Sit down. Honorable Rotimi, please, you know this is a controversial issue. I wouldn't want you to be mentioning things that are not relevant to the subject matter. So please, on your behalf, I have withdrawn that statement you have made. Please, let us not repeat it, okay? Please go ahead and raise your motion.
Thank you very much, Akintunde Rotimi Jr., and I rise on behalf of Honorable Boma Goodhead. Mr. Speaker, I would like to withdraw that introduction, sir. Honorable colleagues, I would like to withdraw that introduction and restrict it to the order paper. My name is Akintunde Rotimi Jr. I represent the good people of Ekiti North 1 Federal Constituency comprising Ikole and Oyo local government. Mr. Speaker, I'm from the land of honor, Ekiti State, Nigeria. Full stop. Thank you very much, honorable colleagues. I rise on behalf of Honorable Boma Goodhead, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that the House do consider the report of the committee
Go ahead.
Of the Committee on Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring on a bill for an act to repeal the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Act number 2, 2010 and enact the Nigeria Oil and Gas Industry Content Act to establish Nigeria Content Development and Monitoring Board and provide for the legal framework, structures, and the programs for the strengthening of the Nigerian content in the Nigerian oil and gas industry and for related matters, HB 1039, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, the report was laid on the 19th of November 2024. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Any secondum? Honorable colleagues are back. Please, I beg you. This has nothing to do with the tax bills. Please, I beg you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House and Mr. Speaker to step down because the presentation of this report until the next legislative day, Mr. Speaker. Okay. Thank you, sir.
If you choose to do so, the bill is stepped down by the leave of the House.
And those were some of the highlights of the House plenary of Tuesday, the 3rd of December, 2024. Now, the medium-term expenditure framework for 2025 to 2027 has been passed by the National Assembly, and lawmakers believe that the key assumptions are both ambitious and achievable, as captured in this interview with Representative Abubakar Fulata.
As the word implies, assumption is an assumption. It's not cast on stone. The budget itself is just a proposal. It could be higher, it could be lower. So what determines the implication, where the assumptions will materialize into a reality, is determined by what has actually accrued. Now, the benchmark is fixed at $75 per barrel. At present, as I speak, oil is selling at $73 per barrel. Now, issues could come up, issues of supply and demand, issues of even political nature, the war in Ukraine, the tension in Middle East could escalate to a point where export of crude out of Middle East could be impossible. You can see the price of crude may shoot up to $100 or beyond. The issues could also arise such that within a very short time, the Ukraine war, has been speculated, will end immediately Trump takes over. It's also possible that Trump may not be the Trump of his first term. It could change, there will be a U-turn. He may say, no, enough of this carnage, there must be peace for business to strive in the Middle East, and therefore the Palestinian issue will be resolved. It will affect price of crude will come down even below $75, $73 as it's been so. So there are estimates. There are, as the word this thing is appropriately captured, the assumptions. But you cannot write a budget in a vacuum. You must attach figures. Now, the crude production of 2.8 2.06 million barrels per day is also an assumption. It may be higher, it may be lower, depending on the piece, the nature of issues that may come out of Niger Delta. There may be, people may be very happy with production companies. There may be harmony within the communities. Nobody ruptures crude pipelines, and everything will go smoothly. Production will go up to that. There may also be instances where militants will say, okay, no, we have certain issues that have not been resolved. The host communities also may have issues that have not been resolved. They say that they will go wild, start rupturing pipelines, and we may not be able to achieve our production quota. Our production quota, OPEC production quota is 1.8. But the MTF is putting at 2.06. But our actual OPEC quota is 1.8 million barrels per day. So as the name implies, it's just an assumption. It may be higher, it may be lower. But what actually drives the process is the actual accruals. Yeah, it's good to be ambitious. Budget is a statement of intention. It's good to aspire higher. Okay? So it's good to be ambitious. So the budget is not cast in stone. What I'm even baffled about the MTF is the deficit itself. Because last year's budget, the accruals have surpassed the budgetary estimates. We got twice what was budgeted. The question I would have asked is, there is no need for deficit budgeting because we have enough. We are budgeted about how many? 20 something billion. 7.9. Yeah? We've gotten more than double of the budget from our revenue generating agencies. So what will happen to this? Of course, there is also supplementary budget. We are now implementing 4 budgets concurrently. Budget 2023, supplementary budget 2023, budget 2024, supplementary budget 2024. We have 4 budgets. Even though they are all terminating by December 2024 to allow for the takeoff of the implementation of budget 2025. But I foresee, in view of the fact that capital implementation of budget 2024 commenced very, very lately, and I'm sure we've not achieved 50% implementation of 2024 itself. I foresee a request for the extension of the termination period of all those 4 budgets that are being implemented. So what will be the problem? We'll be implementing, if we pass the 2025 budgets, we'll be implementing 5 budgets concurrently. These are the challenges that I'm foreseeing.
Representative Abubakar Fulata there speaking on the key assumptions of the medium-term expenditure framework. Now, in a separate resolution, the House is urging the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to intervene in addressing the challenges being faced by Nigerian scholars studying abroad. And Representative Adesola Samuel Adedayo, who moved that motion, provides some insight into that resolution.
Sometimes towards the end of October, I was in Morocco for an assignment, and I ran into this group of students that are on scholarships from they call themselves bilateral educational agreement scholars. In fact, I met their president by the name Bilal Bakari Aliyu, and we had a conversation concerning what they are going through as scholars on those scholarships. And the important thing, they had some points. They talked about the challenges facing them. Number one was that they wanted resettlement of the previous stipend rate, that considering the changes, in the dollar, the exchange rate, that reducing what they were having before will put them under very difficult situations there. Then they were also asking for the immediate disbursement of outstanding shortfalls. That was their number 2 prayer. Then they were also asking for special consideration for Moroccan BEA scholars' accommodation costs. That most of the schools in Morocco don't have accommodation, and that they are at the mercy of their landlords. Some of them have been thrown out by their landlords because the money that was promised them were not, they didn't arrive on time. Then they also want a reassurance that they will have regular and timely payments. They also want expedited processing and dispatch of new BEA students. That there are some students that they are expecting. In conclusion, they said they recognize the economic challenges and remain grateful for the federal government's commitment to our education. However, we honestly appeal for your intervention to address these pressing issues by ensuring that the financial and welfare needs of Nigerian students abroad are met. The government will not only fulfill its obligation, but also enhance Nigeria's reputation globally. I'm of the opinion that what is happening in Morocco may be happening elsewhere, in Malaysia, in all other countries where we have these bilateral arrangements. And I think the motion has called on those that are involved to come to the round table with us to see how we can ease many of these challenges that they are facing currently. That's the whole essence of the motion, and it's been referred to the appropriate committees, and that once it is referred to a committee, they will work on it and they will report back to the House on time. I'm sure that our foreign missions will also be involved, as well as the Ministry of Education will also be involved, and all other agencies that are associated with assisting these students to help them where they are schooling.
And that's our package for today. We thank you so much for watching. I am Itaire Ikpen. Do join us again for another episode of the program. Until then, stay patriotic and stay out of trouble. Bye for now.